We've got 2 humans, 2 cats, hella guitars, and a bunch of other random shit, and we are about to drive from Napa, California to Denver, Colorado. Hi everybody, this is going to be the start of probably my most intense vlog ever because I have never driven this far before. Jesse and I are moving from Napa, California to Denver, Colorado. We are not traveling with the kids will be flying to Denver at the end of the month. They're spending most of this month with their dad, but we are taking both kitties. Kitty 1, Kitty 2. Like a few of Jesse's guitars are making it on the moving truck, the ones that could handle the ride, but we're bringing 6 instruments with us. 2 cars, both driving 18 hours over 3 days. Right now we are currently in our hotel in Napa. We were out of our old house last night. We are officially nomads because we are not in our new house for a little over a week. So time to get going with the driving. Today is going to be from Napa, California to Reno, and it's a short drive. It's the shortest of all the days of driving, but we just knew that today we were going to be exhausted from moving, like having the movers come over, and so we just needed a short drive. Right now it is about 11 o'clock and we need to start loading the cars up because hotel checkout is noon, and that's a good time to take off so that we skip out on the nasty traffic in the Sacramento area. I'm traveling with Lulu today. Jesse is traveling with Loki. We each have a full car. And yeah, this will probably be one of the more mountainous drives as well through the Sierras, which is going to stress me out a little bit, especially because I've never really driven on a mountain with a bag on top of my Rogue before, but we'll figure it out. I will see you down at the cars so we can get going. So I'm sitting here with the cars waiting for Jesse to come down with the guitars, and then the last thing we're doing is going up to get the cats and his computer monitor. And A, we pushed up against the checkout time of noon, so our key stopped working, so he had to go get a new key. B, Lucy managed to unzip the carrier and is now hiding under the bed. So once we get the guitars and everything loaded up, we're gonna have to go up there and get him dealt with. And I swear to God, if I could say anything about pet-friendly hotels, please do not have an under the bed area. Just make it a flat bed come to the ground, because Jesus. I am so sweaty, but we're gonna get out of here. It's a little afternoon. We'll get out of here maybe slightly later than we wanted to, but that's fine. It's still our short day, that's why. And the car is repacking so much easier than it did last night, so that is a plus. Good morning. It is Thursday morning and it is dark in here because we are on the first floor and we did not want nakedness being shown while Jesse is getting ready for, you know, our drive. But before we head out, let me show you the hotel. He's out of the shower. I guess I'm going to have to start this in a second. I'm back, and now you're going to hear the kitties in the background because they are locked in the bathroom with their temporary litter box. So yesterday, we got on the road. Lucy cried for probably the first 2 hours of it. He was my partner. Jesse said Loki cried for a bit, then went to sleep. We got... How far did we get? We got just past Green Valley, so getting up into the Sierras past Sacramento, and there was an RV, I guess, had flipped and caused a acre highway wildfire. So the I-80 was closed for a bunch of the mountains. So we had to go the scenic route on 40 and 20, I think. I don't know. It was through the mountains. It was a little windier, but it was beautiful. It was actually a really nice drive. So that worked out well, but it did add extra time. So by the time we got here, we were so exhausted. We went and got some food at a tavern across the street and then came back and crashed. Funny thing though, while we had the reason the kitties are in the bathroom is so that we can load the car without worrying about them escaping. Yesterday, we had them in their carriers the whole time, but it took a good half an hour, 40 minutes to get everything to the car. And they both managed to roll their carriers, and then Lucy managed to tear a tiny hole and get the zipper to move and let himself out. So we moved where the zippers are so we can't do that again, but right now we got him in the bathroom and that's where they're gonna stay until we pack them up. Funny thing though, in this room, it was supposed to be a pet-friendly room. The first room last night was pet-friendly, but they didn't have, you could get under the bed, so the cats were able to get under the bed. In this room, the under the bed was blocked. However, they weren't able to give us a king bed, so they gave us 2 queens. But one of the queens, the box spring, the fabric from underneath it was torn, and the inside of the box spring was hollow, and so the cats, there was one little crevasse they could get into, and Loki got stuck in the bed. So we wound up getting him out. They couldn't move us rooms, so we flipped the box spring over so we can't sit on that bed, or we'll dip into it, but it blocked it. It's been an interesting trip so far. However, today is about 7.5 hours of driving, and we are driving to Salt Lake City with a few stops in between. I didn't get any road footage because I didn't have time to set up a little camera mount, and honestly, I don't want to be unsafe. This is a pretty basic room though. You can see behind me, closet, coffee maker, bed. Bed that Loki got trapped in. Windows, stuff. And that's a first floor window, so we've kept it closed. I'm really terrified as to how bright it is going to be outside. I also have a lot of water in my water bottle, and we're going to stop and get breakfast on the way out of town so we can just eat on the drive. We have walkie-talkies, which we did use, but Jesse's for some reason kept dying, so hopefully that doesn't happen again today. Good morning from Salt Lake City. Today is Saturday, so I haven't checked in with you in a couple days because we wound up having a bit of a trip. So the last I checked in, we were leaving Reno, and for the first 6 hours or so of the drive, things were okay. Maybe 5 hours. Things were okay. It was hot, but we managed. Lucy cried damn near the entire time. And then we stopped at a Love's truck stop in Wells, I believe, Nevada, and got gas and had lunch. I love that truck stop, no pun intended. I think that's my new favorite place. But as soon as we pulled out and started driving on the highway, my air conditioner started only blowing hot air, and we couldn't manage to make it work. So we pulled over, moved Lucy to Jesse's car, and then I drove for 2.5 hours through the Great Salt Desert of Salt Lake City, the Great Salt Desert of Utah, on 110 degree heat with no air conditioning, and I just had my windows. I would open them and then close them, and I would dump water on myself, and it worked out okay. But we decided to spend an extra day in Salt Lake City, so we called the hotel to get an extra day here, and then we called the hotel in Denver to tell them we weren't going to arrive until Saturday, and then called AAA to see if we could get a hold of a mechanic, and every mechanic we talked to and all of the ones they recommended were all completely booked. So we were starting to stress out. So then we had a wild conversation. We were already planning on getting an all-wheel drive Rogue, newer Rogue, to replace my 2010 Rogue in Denver because there were no all-wheel drives to be had in California. And we looked around in Salt Lake City, and there were a bunch of all-wheel drive Rogues. So we bought a new car. Well, new to us. It's 2020. It's newer. We expected maybe 2018 because that's when the Apple CarPlay started. But we got 2020. Low mileage. We like it. I'll show you a clip of it here. But yeah, we're excited about the new car. But that was not what we were expecting, to be able to buy trade in our old car and buy a different car here in Salt Lake City before we could drive the rest of the 9 hours to Denver. I'll say that the dealership experience was great. They brought us food because we were hangry at that point from a place called what's it called? Perfect Burger? No, that's not right. Something with a P burger, and it was really, really good. And then we came back, relaxed for a bit, then went out driving just around so I could start getting used to the different car. We drove past Temple Square here in Salt Lake City, which was absolutely stunning. We went up towards the hilly part of Salt Lake City. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hot as balls, but beautiful. And we drove up to the Capitol building, and I have to say that is the best spot I've ever seen for a Capitol building. This morning, the kitties have already gotten their gravy. We've already taken a load down to the cars. This is a parking garage in a city center hotel, which I didn't think about when I booked it, but I'm glad because they've been awesome in their steakhouse, where we went on the first night we were here for our anniversary dinner. We made it here with just enough time to unload the cars into our room and jump in the shower for a quick hoe bath, just sort of rinse off the sweat, threw on new clothes, went to have our delicious, delicious anniversary dinner, and then came upstairs and showered again. And having the day in between driving has been really helpful, even though it's been really, really weird. But by the end of today, we should be in our hotel in the Denver area, and I am so ready to be in my house. At this time next week, we're supposed to be in our new house. So, yeah. This is the hotel room. Jesse's in the shower, so I'm not taking in the bathroom, but king-size bed. City view, sorta. Kitty view. Other kitty view. But yeah, and we're just about ready to take this last load and then come back and get the kitties. So yeah, I think they really used this time off to take a rest too. We have a great picture of them like just exhausted last night. Ooh, I can't forget my candy bar. Don't forget my candy bar. All right, maybe today I'll check in from the road, but if not, I will see you in Denver. Hello there, it is 2:28. I just took my potassium and we are at a Love's, which has become our favorite kind of truck stop. I got a sandwich for lunch to eat on the way, and I wanted to get more of the peeled clementines because I got those on the way to Salt Lake City, and when I was dying of heat, there's a fucking bird out there. When I was dying of heat, they were so nice, but instead I got honeydew, and there's like a stick you can use to eat it while you're driving. So that's what I'm gonna do, I think. This is the interior of my new car, black instead of the cream that it was before. I'm keeping an eye on Jesse's car and his guitars and his Lulu. And I've got my Loki in here who is not happy with me at the moment. But yeah, so this is how full we are, but still I have visibility. And yeah. So, good times. Yeah, Loves. And Gorby's in there. If you've been on Instagram, you would have already seen that Gorby's been chronicling this journey for me. This is our second and only other stop in Wyoming, fingers crossed. And we will be heading for our final stop before we hit Denver, which is Fort Collins, right over the border. So yeah, it's about 3 hours from here, and then I think it's a final hour or so into Denver. I'm so tired, and my nose is running. My allergies are so bad, I cannot stop sneezing. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna get situated for lunch and we're gonna get going. Well, hello there. It is Monday morning, so it's been a few days since I checked in, and I just wanted to let you know how the end of our trip went because it just continued to get interesting. The drive from Salt Lake City to Denver went really well for the most part. I had Loki instead of Lucy. Loki cried some but slept for a lot of it. My new car drives really comfortably. Wyoming was not quite as boring as we expected to drive through. However, there were a couple of situations. One, there was a trailer that jackknifed, and so we had a really bad slowdown for part of it. And then two, at another point where it was slowing down, the trailer in front of us had to slam on their brakes in front of Jesse, and its wheels locked, and it almost jackknifed. And then Jesse and I both, like, nobody got hurt, but it was a close one, and we saw like our lives flash before our eyes. Then when we got to Denver, the hotel we had planned to stay in, it was sketchy as fuck. When you get into your room, and your room is kind of dirty to begin with, and then the peephole is blocked with a piece of toilet paper. Yeah, there was a lot that was sketchy, so we were like, oh fuck. So we were able to get a refund, and I think the telling sign was how quickly and without question we got a refund. And then the next hotel we went to that had the availability we needed and said it was pet friendly, they were really, really nice, but they only took dogs. And they recommended us to the third and final hotel that we are at now that does take cats, and I was able to make a reservation, but they only have one floor of pet-friendly rooms, and they weren't sure they were gonna have one, but they managed to squeak us into one. So woohoo! So that we are here. We also have heard from our sellers we might get in a couple days early, so we're fingers crossed for that. But today I plan to run some errands. Jesse is working in the room, and yeah, we're all exhausted, which is why I didn't update you when we got here on late. Like, we didn't even get the car unpacked until about 10:30 p.m. on Saturday, and then Sunday we spent most of the day relaxing, and we went to a friend of ours who already made the move out here to drop off some of Jesse's guitars and things like that, because there's just not enough space. The rooms we were gonna stay in were big, which is why I got that hotel, but this one's not as big, so we just wanted to get some of the stuff out of our way. Anyway, so that was our trip to Denver. A 3-day driving trip that turned into 4 days total because one day we didn't drive. We came out of it with a different car. We came out of it in a different hotel than we expected. It has been an adventure, but we are glad to be here in Denver finally, and we are just more than ready to be in the new house. Have you ever had anything happen to you while you're traveling that just makes you think, oh my God, like this is a cursed trip? I'd love to hear it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, friends, peace.